So welcome to the November meeting. After our usual reports, there's just one planning application and its associated listing of building consent to consider the change of use of the Carrington Arms from a public house to a 6-bedroom dwelling house with a self-contained 2-bedroom annexe. There's also a report back on the status of previously considered planning applications. The resolutions this evening are to agree an action plan for the maintenance of the defibrillators, one at the sports ground, one at the village hall. To agree the purchase of road safety equipment, which is probably another speed indication device and or community speed watch equipment. We've obtained a £2,000 grant from Thames Valley Police Community Fund, which is the reason we can go ahead with this. To consider the performance of the weekly bin collection. To consider the Milton Keynes Swim Club's application for a grant from the Voluntary Sector Fund, which Milton Keynes Council has devolved to the Parish Council to administer. To consider planting additional trees at the sports ground, and separately to consider trimming one of the trees which is overhanging the cricket pitch. And also at the sports ground to consider a mechanism to protect the tennis court block, which has been broken on previous occasions. We will also be considering the budget process for 2026-7, as we have to tell Milton Keynes Council our precept demand by the end of January. And this is collected as part of our council tax. There is a part 2, which is held in private. This will discuss a claim that we're making against the provider of the large waste bins, or the previous provider, I should say, the large waste bins at the sports ground, and 2 quotations on other matters. Just before I end, just a reminder that next Sunday is Remembrance Sunday. The village commemoration service is being held at 9:15 a.m. at the War Memorial, and will be preceded by the Hanslope and Castlethorpe Beavers and Cubs parading from the village hall to the memorial, where one of their numbers will lay a wreath on behalf of the village. This year, and I suspect it's been the only year, we're privileged to have Chris Curtis MP, who will lay a wreath. Councillor Alison Andrew will lay the Milton Keynes Council wreath, and police officers Chris Stockings and Matt Rickman will lay a wreath on behalf of Thames Valley Police. North Street will be closed between the 2 South Street junctions from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with diversions around South Street. So I think that's all by way of the introduction. So if we could start with the open forum. Are there any matters anyone would like to raise in the open forum?
Yes. Regarding 44 and 45, the checkers.
Would you mind sitting next to Kay, because this is recorded and the microphone is there, and Kay, perhaps you can swing your camera around. Yeah.
Right. Yes, regarding 44 to 45, the checkers. Reading the previous council notes, this is the second time it's been applied for. The first time they applied, and the application was withdrawn on the 2nd of June this year. The application was withdrawn, and since then, up until September, which the Parish Council reviewed the application online, I understand. The decision was due on the 9th of October. The decision, I presume, would be for it to go ahead.
No, it was refused.
I'm not quite sure what it meant.
Yeah.
And of course, on today's agenda, I've just read that it has been refused.
Yes.
And this is application 1504.
Yeah, yes.
I don't quite understand, because they're still working very hard on the building. And I always understood that when it was refused, there was a stop notice on it.
Well,
It could well be that I'm not au fait with council business, but I do live in the Chequers, and it is affecting the traffic
yeah,
because we have a lot of.
I mean, Dave Hines has been keeping a fairly close eye on the build. It is on the agenda because previous applications are on there, and I did discuss this with Jackie earlier today. Yes, I mean, they can go ahead. You can start building before you've got a planning application, but it is at your own risk. And that risk is that if it's refused, the council can make you take it all down and restore it to as it was before. So they have done this work at their own risk. And I think they will have to discuss what the objections are, the grounds that for the refusal, and see what can be done to mitigate it. But I do understand that there is some feeling that it is overly large.
Do we know why it was refused?
It will be in the notes. I don't have that in front of me.
I understand it was because.
Sorry?
Number 36.
Sorry.
It was too close on number 36.
King's Planning Board.
Yeah.
On the Milton Keynes.
Yeah, Milton Keynes Council.
Yeah.
They look for planning, and then if
Christine.
you look for that actual planning application, it should give you all the information.
Yes.
Okay. Jackie was just saying that it was. She believes it was.
It was rejected because of the size and the close proximity to the rear of number 36.
Yes, it is out of proportion with the rest of the houses.
Yeah.
And as you know, the Chequers is quite a compact close, and we're having problems anyway with car parking because I think in the last couple of years there's been quite a turnover in the small area. We've had new people coming in, and of course they've all got one or perhaps two cars. So we have a problem with parking. I was passing the other day, no, last month, to the post box, and I came across a young gentleman who was having a look, and I just stopped and said, "Oh, you know, how is it getting on?" He said, "Well, I'm from Milton Keynes Council, and I'm just having a look at what the parking is here."
Right.
Because there are two very large hedges, and if you're having a house with, if it's 2 4-bedroom houses, you've got 8 bedrooms, and where are they going to park? I'm not saying everybody's going to have a parking space, but the parking is very limited there, and it wouldn't be advisable to tell people to park on the road, because at the moment, when they're building or they have a big lorry there, it's very difficult to get down into the Chequers. And there has been an accident, I'm not quite sure, about a month ago, I think. There was a van and a car had run into another car. I don't know if it was reported or not.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that,
Wondering.
as I said to Bill when we spoke on the phone, Highways did look at it, and I did go through the comments that were being made.
Yes. Yeah.
And the comment from Highways on parking was that although it did not meet the standard for that size of house, number of bedrooms in that house, they would not object because it was an improvement on the previous situation where there wasn't any off-road parking, and this was providing, I forget now, is it 2 per house?
Yeah.
2 in one and 3 in the other. So that is why they didn't object. But we will be taking this up later in the meeting because yes, we will be. It arises in one of the
that's fine. I just wondered how on the planning application it said refused. So refused to me is don't go ahead until you got permission to do so.
No,
So if it's
well,
refused, I also there's a stop notice on it.
no, only there is something called a stop notice,
Yes.
which Milton Keynes Council can give a stop notice, and then you just have to stop. But people quite often go ahead and do things and often apply retrospectively.
Yes, I was going to say it's probably
Indeed.
in retrospective.
Indeed, even with the Carrington Arms that we're going to consider in a minute, it's you'll see in the agenda item it says part retrospective because he's done a little bit of work inside, assuming he's going to get the planning permission. Anyway,
Okay,
we will pick
that's
that
all
up.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have something as well. Two items of good news.
Yeah.
I this morning attended the Zoom meeting for the Milton Keynes Sustainable Transport Forum,
Yeah.
which I'm one of the delegates for parish councils. There were two interesting items there. First of all, the station Central Milton Keynes Central now has more than 8 million passengers a year. And is one of the busiest stations in Britain, and is now going to be reclassed by Network Rail as a Category A station. A, which means there'll be improvements to it and also more security there,
Okay.
which is timely in the course of what's happened this last weekend.
Yeah.
And the second one is that the council are planning a big use your bus campaign, particularly aimed at people with passes or pensions with bus passes, but also children and everybody else that uses buses. And they're producing a series of leaflets about how to get to exciting places in Milton Keynes, and which bus to use. And one of them is Salty Forest, which means that the 33 bus will get a lot more passengers on it.
Okay, good.
That will become much more viable, hopefully.
Thank you. Right, is there anything? Look, actually, this is for questions from the public.
Okay, I've just got to Russell thoughts.
Yeah, I know, I should really have asked.
It is from the public, but that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, you know, should really, well, it's other business, other business, but yeah. There's no other questions now. In that case, can we move into the meeting itself then? And apologies from Steve by way of illness. So we declarations of interest in any of the agenda items in part 1 of the meeting. I don't think so. No? No. Let's move on then to the minutes of the previous meeting on the of the 6th of October. Can I ask if there are any matters of accuracy or omission that the councillor wants to raise? In that case, can I have a proposer, which is Russell, and a seconder, which is Luke? All in favour? Sign these. Right, so moving on to 4.1, which is the clerk's report. So let's look at that. So just for members of the public, we have now submitted a grant application for solar panels up at the pavilion to National Lottery. So let's keep our fingers crossed. That will actually be a benefit to the parish council, and therefore to the precept, rather than to the tenant, who will get a small discount, but not the full saving. Other than that, would note I've got 4 volunteers for Community Speed Watch, which is good.
I think actually we may have more than 4 because Sheila and I are both the ones here. That's the new person. Plus, there's another people as well.
Okay, well that's very good given the agenda item we're going to come on to later. Councillors, do you want to raise any other matters in items 1 to 11? No. And then the items being carried forward, 12 and 13 presumably no action on either of
No.
those, no. And then the huge long list of highways items every time.
There were actually in the village today. There's white marks everywhere
Yeah,
of work that they're proposing to do. How soon or if is another question.
well, no doubt the ward councillor's report will reveal all. Okay, anything else on the clerk's report? In that case, we'll move on. And this is Alison, over to you for ward councillor's report. Do you want to come forward?
Speak. Yeah, I don't have a huge amount of update this time, so I know I took up a lot of time last month. Just a couple of things, the new city plan, the Milton Keynes new city plan meeting is happening on Wednesday evening, if anybody from Castlethorpe's coming along, and you're going to come along.
Well, Steve and I were scheduled. I mean, I hope Steve is going to be well enough to attend, but yeah.
Absolutely, and I've got a couple from Hanslow and Hampshire as well are coming too, so and then they'll give us timings when it goes out for the final public consultation. And I think depending, well, we're probably going to do some briefings around the area about exactly what that means for around here, but
Yeah.
the biggest thing being Hanslow Park. The only other big piece of current work that we're looking at is the closure of New Bradwell tip, the waste and recycling plant.
Yeah.
That's going to be closed. Well, this is what's being proposed, and then a large one opened at Alton under that very narrow single front bridge access that will now take an extra 300,000 cars a year. It's brilliant, genius. So that's going to be coming up to planning, and there's groups of residents from around the place who are going to be objecting to that. And that was pretty much it. I know we went through a lot there, but for you to mention highways, it still sounds like you've got a big old snag list. Are they closing them on the actual system, or are they just, is this your manual list that you're giving?
This is a manual list that
And
to be fair, I haven't really gone on and checked. I mean, I have a quick scan through it and see whether any of them have obviously been closed, but some of them they've closed saying that they're not at investigatory level.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do anything about it.
Well, perhaps if it's any use, if you and I can just have a separate meet to go through it, check ones that have been closed. Because I've got quite a few on my snag list.
Yeah.
They need to be done, but if we probably
Yeah.
tackle that offline.
If you could particularly include the one that's at the junction of Bullington End Road and North Street, it's right in the middle, and it's all really, really hard to make the turn without dropping your wheel into it.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of Bullington End Road is in pretty poor state, but that is particularly bad.
Yeah, this is the problem, because even when we've had a lot of Castlethorpe Road in Hanslow, which is just getting bigger and bigger, and I've reported it on 3 separate occasions and then appealed it, and they're still saying it's not bad enough to fix.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a picture of myself lying in it. Hello. See, that works. Absolutely.
Or
But yes,
perhaps a builder passing by might accidentally drop some concrete into it.
that'd be wonderful. But yes, that's
So, okay,
that's it for me.
Okay,
There's
all
anything
right.
else?
Well, thank you very much, Alison. Right, so we now move on to planning applications, and there is effectively only the one, which is the Carrington Arms. It's got both the planning application and its associated listed building consent to change from a public house, which it technically is. Not the members of the public have been in there for about 15 years, and actually more than that, isn't it? It's 17 years, 17, 18 years. Into a 6-bedroomed main house and a 2-bedroomed annex in the buffer room at the back. And they've got parking showing within their own area, which it looked to me as if you get about 4 cars in there from the drawing, but there you go.
I think it specifies, don't specify.
Oh, does it say 5? Or 5 cars. So, but this is primarily about a change of use. Do any councillors have any questions on?
Can I ask if this is any different to when he came and spoke here and laid out the plans for it? Is this any different to what he was suggesting?
I don't think so. From what I've looked at the plans and they look pretty sensible to me. But whether there were, there were a number of questions asked about different bits on it. The only one that sticks in my mind is that he was asked whether he would keep the pub sign,
Yeah, I remember
which
that.
I did think, oh, I don't know how practical that is really. And he said yes, and I couldn't see it in the drawings, but there you go. I think that one will take its course, won't it? Unless anyone we want to put in there that he did give an undertaking that he would keep the same. Anyone want that? No. All right. Okay, in that case, can I assume no objection, any councillor? No, that's fine. So we now move on to report back on previous applications. Now, excluding 6.3, which is one that Christine mentioned. Anything else that anyone wants to mention, and we can have a longer discussion on that one.
The only thing we've already touched on it is these two properties at the Checkers.
Oh yes, yeah, if we come to this one, yes.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what's actually going on, I mean, they are humongous compared to what was there before. Now, don't get me wrong, whatever they're doing is probably improvements of what was there before, but these are massive structures that are going up.
Yeah.
Like, I fully understand what the people behind are complaining about.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure at this stage if there's anything more we can do.
Well, I think the basic point is that we should perhaps report to planning enforcement that building work is continuing, despite the fact that there has been a refusal.
Yeah.
And that and perhaps if I may suggest, we say that it does seem very large and overbearing to number 36 and very close to it.
Yeah.
And I think Jackie or Dave, you said that the bricks didn't match. Is that correct?
No, I didn't say.
I said that, yeah. The bricks at the front are red, and then where the new extension, they're kind of like.
They are different, yeah. It does look.
You can see definitely half painted.
Yeah.
From the side.
I mean, normally these things do require materials to be matching.
Thought it was strange.
In fact, I'm not sure, it's not a planning policy. Bill might help me on that, but I'm pretty it might even have been a planning policy that when you do extensions, you've got to have matching material.
Yeah.
Or at least close. These
Yeah.
It's not.
So close to 36, large and overbearing, non-matching materials, and the work is continuing.
Continuing, good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not treading water, right?
Okay. Right. I'll just briefly pause. Christine, you're happy with that response from the Parish Council?
Yes, absolutely, I am. I'll just leave it to you now. I just wanted to.
Okay.
Everything they're doing is totally upkeeping. They use whatever bricks they can get hold of. It's a total mishmash, it's overbuilt. And are obviously pressing ahead on the basis that they'll go for retrospective. And that is totally wrong.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you for that. We'll capture that in the comments, so we'll go ahead. All right, resuming the meeting then. So no comments on any of the other previous planning applications. So we move on to resolutions. We need a resolution to have a part two to discuss the matters I mentioned in the introduction. Russell's proposing that, Darren seconding it, and all in favour. It's fine, unanimous. To agree an action plan for checking the defibrillators around the village. Darren.
Yes, okay, so Jackie and I met on Friday where we checked we're actually at Pavilion, so we checked the the pavilion, defib, and that's all fine. I checked this one tonight, and looks like it needs a bit of work doing to it. The battery seems to be flashing and everything, but what the action is that I got back into, there's a website called the Circuit, which I registered when we got these defibs. I registered them on there. And that's where you update all the information, and you do a monthly check and everything as well. Managed to, with Jackie and I sat together, and I logged in, gave Jackie, or asked her to assist, and then Jackie was able to log in and accept the nomination that they refer to it as. So the request is for the councillors. I appreciate probably not Russell because he'd be stepping down soon, but other councillors to be. I'll send you, if you're okay with it, send you the detail, or send you a nomination from this website called the Circuit. You create an account, and then each time you're either strolling around the village or either coming up here, just you don't have to open the actual door. You can see either battery lights through both of the windows on there. Just check them and then go into the website, because I problem is I don't always get around the village, so sometimes it's always, I think we can collectively do it. Then it'll just make sure that we keep it updated, and we get a reminder each month from the website just to go in and check everything as well. But we have we've updated everything now, haven't we, Jackie? But again, I think this one out here probably going to need some work. But Jackie and I will check that this evening. But if you're okay for me just to add you'll get, let's say, you'll get a nomination from this website. Just go and create an account, and then you can see all the details and that. So that's what the ask is, if everyone's happy with that. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll do that this week. That'll come through. Right. And then if you're training, or when you go training, Kay, and you're up there, or if you're strolling past and walking the dog. Thank you.
Right. Is everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
And Steve as well, even though he's not with us.
Yeah. Well, he's regularly at the pavilion, so. Right. To agree the purchase of road safety equipment following the Thames Valley Community Fund award of £2,000. Is that me to lead on, or is it in lieu of Steve? Am I acting in loco Steve?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, have you managed to get a quote for the SID, the same as we've got, the solar SID?
Yeah, and it's going to be around £3,000 with the solar panelled one, or we could get a mobile one to replace the one that we use.
That one through your station doesn't be just on Station Road for nearly over a year.
Yeah. So, but I was also thinking, if we get another solar one, will we have to get a lamppost? You know, how the trouble we had last time with MKCC. So that's another cost.
Well, it depends whether we can put it on. Oh, they have to be slightly longer posts than we've got in there.
Well, yeah.
How much did we end up paying for? Remember the saga that we had?
It's just a saga that went on and on and on, but it was, I think it was a lot less than we thought.
Yeah.
I mean, originally they
it was
quoted some stupid price.
It was
and then it was about 200. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't really. It's
Well,
funny
I'd say about
the difference in a
2,500.
year, mate. This time last year, I was checking the finances multiple times a day to see how we were falling the pavilion. This year, it's I hardly look. I mean, how are we on track on?
Yeah. It's not. We could afford to.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to propose that we get the CSW equipment, which is relatively small anyway. It's about £150 or something, isn't it? We've got the 4 volunteers, indeed, from Russell, 4. And I think it'd be nice to get them equipped, and we can get that underway. Yeah.
We do need someone to lead that, because the problem we've had before with the volunteers, they've all volunteered to do it, but nobody wanted to.
I thought Steve said that by default he would do it if nobody else.
Did you say that? Oh,
Yeah.
listen.
Not here, sorry.
It's like he's agreeing.
Don't take a vote. All those in favour of Steve doing it. Yeah, I think we should, yeah. And I'm sure he'll lead in the sense of filling the forms in, so. So I would like to get that, because this has been hanging around for a couple of years now. And I think it'd be a really good start. And then for the sake of £1,000, 1,500, I think I'd, like to suggest we make up the balance to get another SID to replace the mobile one, which,
Will we get any money on the old mobile one?
Trade it in.
is it not under warranty?
Might have been once.
Will this be another mobile one? Fixed one?
Fixed one. I personally, I think fixed, because I think we're getting to a point where you
Yeah.
really can't do that now.
Where would this one go?
Well, this is going to be, I think there should be an arm wrestling match between you and Dave as to whether it goes on Bullington End Road or Station Road. I mean, what I would say,
I think people are far safer on Station Road than they are going to them.
I mean, I would argue, I mean, maybe we can get next one in a year's time, because we have to do these things a bit at a time. I would say on Station Road, my view has always been, when we've taken the measurements, that actually average speeds are very, very low. And most league speeds, if you go away from the average and you look at what the spread is, it is mostly pretty low. The real danger is when people are accelerating to get through the narrows, because there's somebody coming the other way and they want to get through first.
I think there's a couple of problems with Station Road. Well, one, I think the traffic calming has been helped by the defunct SID. People don't know it's not working, do they?
Yeah.
And also, one of the problems with Station, where would you put it on Station Road?
Yeah.
So, you put it in one place, people say, well, it should be here, it should be there.
Yeah.
And there's an argument for that, but like it, I think personally, I think Bullington End Road's probably got a better case for it.
Yeah.
So you could keep the on SID where it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. Everybody outside the house.
Yeah.
Perhaps you shouldn't have said that.
So on Bullington End Road, and we just need to decide where. Ironically, there were two originally we put it beyond Darren's house. So it was within about 50 metres within the speed limit signs, which is what is required. And there it did pick up quite a lot of speeding traffic. And then I have to say, well, it's passed away now, so I mustn't be rude, but the road safety officer said, no, of course it will pick up lots there, move it inside that first narrows, and it will record a lot lower speeds. But of course it would, because people have to slow down to come in. Now, in fairness, that's actually where the pedestrian traffic is. But I think if you're warning people to slow down, I personally would like to suggest it goes beyond Darren's house, and people see the flashing light. They slow down as they come in, and that might have also avoid the odd bus losing its wheel. I don't suppose it actually speeding.
No, there is a reason.
Yeah. So on that basis, you'll need to liaise with highways as well, but if you could proceed, is everyone happy with that? So Bullington End Road, beyond Darren's house, but within whatever limit highways require, which I think is 50 metres of the limit sign.
We get a double-sided one. People leaving the village as well.
At this point, can we think of any possible complaints regarding the sighting of
The
it?
sheep might complain that it's flashing.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Darren's the only one that might.
No, I'd say.
Well,
No.
it'd actually be,
People speeding going out.
Farm and down.
yeah, I mean, it will actually be the illumination will be towards Ian's farm.
Yeah,
So, I think,
there's trees. and
it's
everything there
unlikely,
anyway.
yeah, it's unlikely to cause any problems to
No,
people.
it's just,
Okay, can we all agree on that? I suppose we ought to propose and all agree, yeah. Yeah, that's great. It's very good.
Oh, I think we should say that the money comes from the proceeds of grant, which have been seized by the police.
Yes, that's true, yes. So,
does,
what,
Yeah.
yeah, it does, yeah, yeah.
And they've already paid us it. We're supposed to reply to say whether we still wanted it, and it's in the account.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
There's one big jewel heist in Milton
Yeah,
we need to pay out to the
I was
Louvre.
gonna say,
Yeah.
all the speeding fines. Yeah, there we go. Right, can we move on to 7.4? Which is the, excuse me, which is the weekly bin collection. I mean, Kay, what I don't particularly want to do is to have a long discussion about how bad it is, because have we all seen Kay's note? I mean, basically, Kay very kindly, having had some problems in South Street, posted this on Facebook and collected a whole series of complaints from around the village, which she's put in our packs so that we can see it. And I was suggesting, Kay, that, which I think was actually your original suggestion, that we then wrote to Kevin Wilson.
Yeah, with those
And
comments.
attach those comments. Are you happy with that?
Absolutely.
Is everyone else
Yeah.
broadly happy with that?
Yeah.
And I did reply to you earlier today and just say,
I've seen it unresponded.
you have responded.
Yeah.
I haven't
The
seen
one
it.
about the resident who was who applied for help.
Yeah, to say
I've
that.
responded, and they're quite happy for us to complain for
And
them.
you've got the number.
Yeah.
Lovely, super. I
Okay.
haven't seen that yet. Okay, so I'll add that. I probably won't put it in the main one. I'll add it into the email itself. And I'll also pick up the other example you gave me as well. And
Doesn't need that complaint doesn't need expediting. It's really urgent.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I'll do that tomorrow, actually, yeah. And right, well, if we're all happy with that, then that's really good, yeah. That's good. To consider the swimming club's application for a contribution from the Voluntary Sector Fund, which, as I mentioned in the introduction, has been delegated to us to administer, which is quite nice. Jackie, I think you've been looking at this.
Yeah, so, well, just to recap that we've already allocated some
Okay.
funds.
Right.
We've already agreed to allocate the Sea Scouts, Castlethorpe Parish Sea Scouts, for their welfare unit. We're waiting for them to come back and give them the details of. We've given church £1,000 and cricket the same for their repairs and projects. So there is, how much left? Did we say 217 left in the pot, if you like, and the swimming club originally wanted 12 of these sort of training devices that you put under the swimming hat, I think, at times the swimmer. They're £52 each, so we couldn't obviously afford to fund all 12, but we could afford to fund 4 of them for them if they finish.
So are the swimming club, MK Swimming Club, is that, do they charge? Do they make a profit? Are they a charity?
I think they're a charity, non-for.
So they offer swimming lessons
Oh, no, I think
for
they
nothing
would, they have a member
Yeah.
membership. You have to be a member.
and do pay for that membership? Because the word to me that's shouting out here is voluntary sector fund.
I think it's run by volunteers.
Secretary of something else.
Yeah, it's run by volunteers, which is the same as the cricket club. Also, you have to pay to be a member of that, don't you? But it's run by
Pay your cricket fees.
cricket fees and
match
stuff,
fees, yeah.
so I think it's the same.
No, as long as there's volunteers involved, I'm
Yeah.
not problem with it. I
Yeah,
was just asking that question, but yeah.
I mean, I can check, but it is run by.
Yeah, well, subject to that, I mean, I have to say that I had thought it was a charity.
It's a good thing to do for each people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
And and
it will use that up, and it may be, I I mean, Darren, I don't want to push
Yes.
Sea Scouts overly, but it would be handy if he could, you know,
Yeah, yeah, no,
identify.
I'll see everyone Thursday.
I would think this must be the off season when they're going to be going very cheaply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realise, I thought he'd been in contact with you, I'll speak to him.
No, I mean, Jackie's been talking to him about the award, and there was a bit of discussion about, and that wasn't the VAT discussion, was it?
Well, yeah, it was as well, but
It was as
we
well, yeah.
resolved. You can go back to the chair lady. I think you got a new chair.
Sarah, yeah.
Yeah.
To see how she felt about.
But the thing is, we've allocated 5,000, it may not cost 5,000.
No.
If there is money left over, then we could consider upping our contribution to the swimming club. But otherwise, this pretty much uses up the voluntary sector S106, which is really good. Make it doesn't go to waste. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine, I know Sarah as well, so if I see her at football this week,
Yeah.
I'll mention it to her as well.
I mean, it's not like desperately urgent, but it would be nice to get this.
Yeah,
So are we all in favour then of
Mhm.
this proposal to do these and up to the limit of what we've got? Yeah. Okay, but I'll propose and it's money, so David's seconding. It's great. To consider planting additional trees in the sports ground, councillors Hines and Stacey.
Over to you, councillor.
Thank you very much, councillor.
Don't forget the word exhaustive.
Yes, an exhaustive meeting over this. We would propose 2 trees be planted 7.4 metres apart in the gap between the cricket pitch and the football pitch.
Oh, really?
In that arc, there's 2 trees missing.
All right, okay.
Oh, what, along the bottom?
No,
No, through the middle.
Through the middle.
perpendicular to the
Towards the
footpaths.
fields.
Yeah, it comes in a sweep around.
Yeah.
And there are 2 trees missing.
Okay.
So we suggest 2 trees there. We suggested a tree as you enter in on the right-hand side, there's a line of beeches. There's one of those missing. Right outside Chris and Nikki Birchall, or probably
Okay.
their house.
Yeah.
We propose a tree there. As far as the north side or northeast side is concerned,
Yes.
there is actually they're uniform, more or less uniform. And then if you fill in between the gaps, you're going to have to do. I wonder if they're going to be too close then.
Well, you.
Yeah, that's what that was our thoughts.
Yeah.
Looking at
I have
it.
to say it was and I just, but and to be honest, I think a trees at that distance is hardly likely to make any difference.
No.
I did.
And as a screen, they're not really screening through anyway. You want something
Yeah.
a little bit different,
Yeah.
which may then cause problems for the landowner on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, on the face of it, it looks as though you could plant lots of trees when you first look,
Yeah.
but then you realise how close the cricket pitch is
Yeah.
to the area where you're looking at planting. So
Yeah. Well, you can see there's a request for us to trim one of the trees.
as well, yeah, well,
Because it's
so where we're talking about 3 trees.
3 trees.
And initially we thought, but certainly the on the right, as you come in, cost of that depending upon height, it's all about height.
Yeah.
Would be between 50 and 90 to £100.
Yeah.
If you want to go for birch on all 3, would seem sensible. They get to 10 and 15 metres.
All birch or birchall?
All birch or birch on.
Yeah. I think we ought to talk to Chris and Nikki before we go planting a tree right in front of
Oh, I've been my pleasure to go around and Councillor Hines did suggest a giant redwood, which I thought was
No one complained about that, would they?
so that's as far as we've got.
Okay.
So the parish council needs to decide, if everyone wants to think about it for a bit or whatever, and let me know what ideas of species.
Well,
And then what height you want to go. Obviously, the more expensive, then you're going to get 10 to 12 centimetre rounds. They're going to be 12, 14, 12 feet high, or 8 to 10 feet.
best time to plant?
Now,
Now, yeah.
Yeah, for now.
So, shall we I mean, frankly, I'm not really sure I can give any more thought to this. I mean, you know what you're talking about, and I mean, you want, so the proposal is 3 birch trees.
Hmm.
1, 2, sorry, is the third one in front of Chris's?
Yeah,
Yes,
Subject to him being happy with
Yeah.
that. And we're talking about £100 each?
it depends if you want to go for the slightly bigger ones, that will be a
Well,
feature
up
to
to-
start with. I looked at the Woodland Trust, I looked at Milkeys Community Trees, but they're all for whips.
Yeah,
Now, we're unlikely, any of us, to see the great benefit of these trees, but even less likely for the whips.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I would suggest going for something more.
And what about planting?
I can get that done.
You can get that done, thank you. So if we're talking about giving perhaps Luke and Dave in conjunction with Jackie authority to spend £300 on 3 trees.
If I may suggest that if we could make it 340, because when I said £100, it might be 106 or whatever, and then we have to buy posts and the tree guards.
Okay,
That's all within my
yeah,
discretionary amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, can I suggest we do that? I think you'll do it. Very good, that'd be nice. You know, we've been struggling for years finding places to plant trees, which is so odd in a rural parish like ours, where you'd think it'd just be.
Wait years now, it's been.
Yeah.
Right. To consider purchasing a mechanism to fit over the tennis court padlock. Now, Steve was looking at this.
I did speak to Steve earlier when he rang me.
Yeah.
He said that he's spoken to Tennisville, the tennis coach, and they had a discussion about first of all, people giving out the code to non-members, and they decided after racking their brains, there's absolutely nothing that they can do about that because there is no booking system. A booking
Yeah.
system wouldn't work, and yeah, so there was nothing they could do. With regard to the padlock, Bill was going to get, sorry, Steve explained the mechanism to Phil and he thought that would work. So he was going to go off and just investigate which one would be best and then come back to Steve, but he hasn't done that as yet.
Okay.
So Steve said he can either give him the authority to sort it or bring it to the next meeting.
Well, rather than these things dragging on, can we just agree that if it's within Jackie's discretionary authority, Jackie has authority up to 500, I think, actually, but I don't think it'll be that much.
No.
Just that we do that, and then Jackie can just get on with it. Yeah. Because I don't like the kids going in there and playing with it. The damage does occur. Yeah. Okay. Are we all happy with that? Then we delegate that to Steve and Jackie to use their authority. Or Jackie's authority. Okay, and consider reducing the size of a tree in Castlefield that Cricket have asked. Oh no,
It wasn't, it was a resident.
it's a resident. Oh right, okay. I thought it was David Spinelli had asked for something.
That's other ones. This is.
That's another one, that's the hedge you
Yeah.
wanted reduced at the sports
Yeah.
ground.
And some trees, but this is the one that's near my gate, remember? That
Right,
loads of-
okay.
I think she spoke to Jenny. She said to me when she was still living.
No, I think by default that this tree would be have a TPO on it because it's within the conservation
Yeah.
area. I couldn't quite understand. She wants to reduce the size to stop encroachment. Well, she can apply and stop it at her boundary.
Yeah.
She'd have to apply. I can't see reducing the height of it's going to affect her, unless it's not encroachments, it's light encroachment. I don't quite know what issue was.
Probably right, I would say.
I mean, one of the problems that residents do have is just the bureaucracy of applying for these things.
Yeah,
I mean, even when I was trimming one of my trees, you know, I had to crib off somebody else I knew that had applied for it. And I just wonder whether, you know, we should do it. Presumably it's on our land.
It is.
Yeah, but you've got to decide what you want to do. I mean,
Yeah.
if she's worried about light, then you're reducing height. If she's worried about, or he is worried about encroachment, reducing the height's not going to affect.
No,
that.
no.
So
I think it is height because
It is
when
height.
she talked to me, she said.
then I
it's
think
so high.
species, I think you ought to give me latitude to have a word with somebody who will talk me through the effect of on the tree of reducing its height.
Yeah.
Because of the sort of tree it is. So if we could defer it, I would appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay.
But technically, my advice was we don't really have to do anything. They're not that big. But we'll show them.
Yeah. Okay. Good. If I may briefly digress, as we were talking about, we mentioned the hedge. Charlie Needham has trimmed the hedge that is next to the cricket pitch now. He's reduced the height and he's cut it so that it is not going over the edge of the footpath that runs along there on the cricket side. And I think that's probably about as much as he can do. I don't know if anyone else has seen it since it's been done. No. The other side, I think there's one big hedge, particularly at the entrance to that path from Thrupp Close. I think if he could trim that one.
Yeah, he's
back.
going to do all those others.
If you could ask him, because obviously once he's cut it, you don't want to sort of, it would be the same work again, for example, to take the other side back further. If you could cut it back so that it was, I don't know, three inches or so back from the edge, because it's just really difficult for two people to walk down there.
It's difficult to judge at the moment anyway, because the hedges are in sort of pared back, aren't they? There's nothing on them.
Well, this is a beach that has still got leaves
Yeah,
on.
it has,
Okay.
yeah. So it just needs on the path timing and just timing. Yeah.
What's happening with the Castlethorpe hedge?
Well, does that get
Do I do that?
you do your side,
Yeah.
and we do
No, we don't.
We
Are
don't.
you talking about the one running down the side of the
Yeah.
pavilion?
yeah
No.
at the back
we
of the
don't.
pavilion.
So we'll do our side as normal. What about down the bottom, where we've got a right of access? Bottom football pitch.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that one.
Do you want that sided up?
Well, I've met with Tove, because that's part of the village landscaping
Right.
contract. And last year, when Glendale did it, he knocked on all the doors, because where it backs onto the Lodge Farm Court, and literally asked them how they wanted it. Some wanted it left, some wanted it cut. Jordan has been down there and he said it really all needs levelling off and tightening it for biodiversity. And he said I spoke to you, didn't I? And he said to ask you what you thought.
I'd have to get
Your
Finley,
advance.
we've got a chat, I'll go and have a look.
Because Jordan doesn't want to have to, I mean, it does look a bit silly as well, it's a parish council
The hedge
area,
trimmers
so.
we use, they're very good at trimming hedges, they're not very good at restoring. If you need to actually get in there and change them and cut
Yeah,
to a level. But I'll get Finley to have a look at it,
would you mind, and then just
not at all.
recommend what, and then, so at the moment he's holding off until, I literally had a conversation today, so he's holding off until I tell him what we want to do
Just
So-
growl if I.
it.
Okay, very good. Right, so now if we can move on to the payment schedule. And the payment schedule is, I think, just looking down, there's the usual clerk supplies and things. The things that are a little bit different are the Remembrance Sunday, the wreath and the bugler donation to the Madwell Silver Band. Then there's the consultation fee for that National Lottery grant application that we mentioned, and pad testing. So that's all pretty normal stuff. And the direct debits are pretty much standard. So are there any questions on any of these any councillor wants to raise? In that case, I'll propose, can I have a seconder, which is K, and all in favour? Right, my son will be. So we now move on to the budget process for 26-27. What we did last year, as far as I remember, was that those of us that could, which I think at the time was Russell, Steve, and me. Well, thank you very much for coming. Basically did some preparatory work via a Zoom call, where Jackie had prepared a kind of first draft or first cut budget, and then shared it on the screen. And we went through line by line and said, you know, this one, you know, what's the explanation for this? And we had a discussion and we changed it and so on and so forth and that did all the costs. And we got all the costs right. And then we came back to the next parish council meeting with the work. Everyone could obviously discuss it then, but it's, you know, slightly more difficult. But you can look at it all there. And then we make the decision on the income and precept side. Yeah. I thought that worked reasonably well. The decision is made in council, as by law it has to be, but it's just the preparatory work that's done on Zoom, and it's actually quite good because you can all be looking at the same spreadsheet at the same time.
And that makes perfect sense to me. You might have come with some flesh on bone rather than so that seems ideal.
So we will set it up. I mean, unfortunately, and I know Kay and Darren are working, possibly Luke, but it would probably be during the day because it's just frankly easier and we're not all tired and so on.
I mean, Zoom's I don't do that on. I can do that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine. So are we all agreed, you know, to proceed on that basis, and we'll look at the first draft budget in December. We might finalise it, but otherwise we'll make the final decision at the January meeting because it has to be submitted, I think, the last week in January. It's interesting actually, because by law, you don't actually have to submit it until the end of February. But Milton Keynes Council say they want it that early. Technically, we could tell them to get on their bike. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jackie, we'll sort out some dates. Yeah. Okay, that's the budget process. Any correspondence received?
Yeah, I did get a text about an electric fence. I think you saw it on Facebook as well.
I saw it, yeah.
It's been put up.
Or a non-electric fence?
Well, yeah, an electric fence that isn't electrified, but could be at any moment.
Somebody said, I was curious, so I tested it, and it wasn't electrified.
That's the sort of person Darwin was there to look at.
So, I don't know, do I report it to right of ways?
No, I mean, the question is, was it obstructing the footpath?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Is it Phillips?
I guess so.
Can you easily step over it?
What, the electric fence?
If it's not electrified, if you can easily step over it,
Oh, I don't.
then it's not technically an obstruction.
Oh,
If you
that
can
would
easily get
cause-
over, so like a sty.
Yes, I don't think it would be easy to.
It's wired like that.
Yeah.
Some people.
Yeah, it's
really
quite
strong.
high.
Yeah, some
It's
people.
quite high, but that is obstruction. Also,
It's on the top crop, so you know where the crop fields are, you've got that path that goes through the middle of the crop field.
Oh, yeah.
That you sort of weed fields, doesn't it, so you can walk right through. So you go through the first one, which is opposite, what's it called, no, the road there?
Fox Cove.
Fox cover, yeah, and then the second field, and then when you get to the third field, there's a gap in the hedge. So you can go through the hedge and then the fence is there. So you walk right, you have to walk round the.
Basically block the pathway, because it doesn't matter if it's electrified, it's still a fence. I mean,
So the
yeah.
foot-
I mean, you can put a fence across footpath, but you've got to find an easy.
Yeah, there's no gate or anything, there's no way, and he said that,
I mean,
and he said it's
wire landmarks put me off.
yeah,
and he said it was because they're putting sheep in there, which is fine, but then they need a gate, because he said he was going to
is this Philip again?
lower it, but then the fence, I would have thought the sheep would just jump straight over it.
I mean,
Doesn't seem as if
just to make sure we're not being picky on this, is it easy just to walk round? Because I did see, the person who posted it said you can still walk round.
you can walk
is that-
around headland, but do they really want us to walk around their headland all the time? And I think it is further, that's for sure. And it's not a public footpath around the headland, is it?
And they also have to stay on the footpath.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
sort of defeats the object, I have to say, of having a public footpath there. And he's always been really, really good. I mean, they've kept the footpaths really well and put it back in again every year. So I'm not sure what's going on.
I'll tell you what, I need to give Philip a call anyway. I'll ask him tomorrow if it's him, and I'll ask him something else as well. I need to do replacing the gates and swore.
Also, it is worth mentioning, if you get complaints, if you do put an electric fence anywhere near where there's a public footpath, you must put warning signs
Yeah,
on
that-
saying this is electrified.
That's what somebody said, it wasn't let me, because there was no.
It hasn't been on yet, I know that.
But the sheep are in there now.
Yeah.
I saw the sheep in there.
Oh, is the sheep there now?
this
Oh,
afternoon.
maybe there is then. But he's literally going to drop the height of it, and I'm like, but surely the sheep could just jump over it. The sheep are quite nimble little creatures. Aren't they?
If they're very trained to electric fencing, they won't take it.
We show jumping sheep.
But I think the point there is still that it would be dangerous because somebody could trip or something like that and fall on the electric fence. So
Well,
Anyway.
I'll ask Philip tomorrow. So I've got it right. If you go across Fox Covert, you go across John Hole's field.
Yeah.
Through the gap in the fence there, across the little bridge over the ditch. You carry on over the next field, and it's the field beyond that. Yeah.
the one next to like where they've got solar panels,
And then you
yeah.
go down,
right up where Lodge Farm is.
then you turn sort of right, go down where there's a
That's
line of conifers,
Yeah.
the cafe.
Yeah.
So a lot of people use it now because of the cafe there,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so.
I have a feeling there was a discussion a few years ago when perhaps to do with the solar farm or any and that was established. I think it was the footpaths office of Milton Keynes Council. This one. Anyway,
I think
I
it'd be
haven't
more
got-
likely to be William than Philip.
Yeah,
is it? Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Well, Philip is the person I need to talk to, so I'll try Philip. But
If you want, let me know, give me a ring, let me know, and if not, well, you.
Philip looks after the units, that's more his,
Yeah, but-
yeah.
William does the farm, really,
Yeah.
these days. Yeah.
all right, do that. Anything up now? I cut you off earlier because really this is where any other business was.
Okay.
I've got.
It was just a plea again to people to park sensibly. I mean, if you've got 3 great commercial buildings who insist on parking on South Street, then please don't park them over people's, even slightly over people's driveways if they've got white lines there. There was an incident, I think it was today, where an ambulance was called for somebody who is very ill, and the ambulance had real difficulties getting anywhere near their house. Because of these, somebody got 3 vans basically, and parked them all, which is more than their fair share of Kirkridge, I think.
Yeah.
And I do understand that some people don't have industrial premises, I get it. South Street is a hideous place for parking because there's lots of people that don't have driveways, me included. But I think just be a little bit more considerate when they're parking because they could have parked further up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that corner as well, where the pub is just, it's a death trap waiting to happen for somebody to have a head-on collision there. Because they park on the corner and then people have to go wide round it and they can't see.
This is
as well.
opposite Russell's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people could be a bit more considerate in their parking, rather than just dumping their vehicles and not actually considering where people's driveways are. And we have at least 2 people who have ambulances fairly regularly, within walking distance of each other.
Yeah.
And I think that people park on the diagonal lines, on the corners. I don't think you're supposed to park any more than 10 metres away from the junction, I think it is. And yeah, happens all the time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, we did have a hatched area that I got when highways were useful, and at the top of at New Road. And you put one in there, I'm not sure how.
people park on it.
Yeah.
It's simple. Right next to the junction, people park on it.
One person in particular.
Yeah. But yeah, just be considerate that there are people there who might need emergency services.
I mean, we used to have a PCSO that used to come round and help. But what has happened? Tilly Skipper or whatever, he's gone.
Yeah, kind of Radish is taken over, but he's moving on to replace shortly.
Weren't they both up at the pavilion tonight?
Yeah, they were talking at the pavilion. A crime prevention meeting at the pavilion.
So they are still around.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got the crime statistics from Connor. haven't we?
Okay. That's it. Right.
And talking about that, the crime stats are in as well.
Yeah, they're in.
Are they? Right.
They're in the there was one case of criminal damage in a neighbour dispute and one robbery.
Robbery.
Yeah, it says, and other incidents not crime related in Castlethorpe included suspected drug dealing taking place and one vehicle circling around Castlethorpe. And in surrounding villages, there's been theft of farm equipment from farm sheds, theft of motor vehicles, and across residential areas in Milton Keynes, residential burglaries and late night patrols now being conducted by the police.
The no visitors has been reinstated on the house, the same house as before.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, can you say again?
Carrington Grove.
Carrington Grove.
There's a house that has a note, they're not allowed any visitors,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
That was reinstated a couple of
yeah.
years ago.
I saw that on Facebook. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry, did a trick or treat the other night, as you do. And there's quite a few, especially.
You or your children?
Yeah, I was after all 3.
I was there
They
too.
were in bed.
Yes,
I was there.
we've done talk then. Yeah, walking from Udi's up to Lodge Farm, there was barely any lights on. One flickered on and then went off again. It was quite dark up there. There's a few areas in the village now that are lit.
What, the street lights?
Yeah,
have
the
gone
street
out?
lights.
That wasn't special Halloween.
No, I don't know. I don't know if they were. I mean, David asked for it to be turned off. But yeah, it was just Nikki had said to me that she was out the other. She had noticed quite a few hours.
If you could note which one it is,
Yeah.
and then when it's light, just take the number down and report it, or tell Jackie or me, and we'll report it.
Yeah, I think it was actually. I think is there 2 or 3 from. So there's that little turn in, isn't there? These most houses are up past the broadbands, fibre optics, yeah, and then from there up to actually Lock Farm Court, there was no lights.
It's awful there.
Well, lovely dark, yeah.
And the pavement is quite uneven as
Yeah,
well.
so I mean, I'll happily.
Yeah, if you would report it, that'd be helpful. Yeah.
So that has to go to MKC, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the few forms that actually does kind of work.
Reports,
Can
people
you
have one or
ask,
two.
whenever we do it, if we can copy in Clark at Castle,
Yeah.
then Jackie should be notified of them.
On the list.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll try and remember this
because it could come with a bit of a burst,
Yeah.
if you've got dark areas.
Yeah, if you get a few in, they will come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, the one opposite number 22 north, so I think that's still broken off, isn't it?
Oh, that one, yes, out by Sunnyside Farm,
Yeah.
it's broken, yes, we were talking about it earlier. But that's completely broken.
Yeah, I sort of
hardly
left
can't-
it and then
yeah.
they've never been back to fix it.
Yeah,
I find outside the Carrington really dark. With the pub. when you walk out of here and go over the other side of the road, that bit by the Carrington is really dark.
Is there a light out?
There's one on the other side of the road, but it
Yes.
doesn't light that bit,
Well,
but there's
yeah,
there's no.
Call night time, Kate.
yeah. Right.
So,
Two council leaders have been admonished for
Yeah.
swearing online, so, yeah. One of them is Milton Keynes. Right,
part two's okay.
Yeah.
so we can switch that on.
Yeah,
Next-
resolution.
The next parish council meeting is the 1st of December, and we've got the, as Alison mentioned earlier, the Milton City Plan final draft details are being presented on the 5th.
They're actually available then. They're available.
Yeah.
Can you view that on YouTube or Zoom?
I'm not sure it's being
Not
live streamed, no. I mean, I don't know quite why they don't do them all, but they don't. But if Russell says the papers are now available, it would be worth having a look.
We're allowed to send two representatives, aren't we? So is if Steve can't make it, I don't know, does anybody
Yeah.
else want to be on
Remember, did you want to
standby?
come? Luke, if you
What
can't,
date is this?
it's Wednesday at 6:30
At the civic office.
in the evening, not in
Yeah.
the morning.
I need to check that.
Yeah, yeah, because Steve put himself down, but he is
Yeah.
not very mobile at the moment.
No.
Seriously. Right, well, in that case, I think we say farewell to residents at this point, because we just have these part 2 matters to discuss. And hopefully we will see you on the 1st of December. So I'll stop the live stream now.